from their encounters with races from other planets. The information is the activation. Let's awaken this world together. We are the forever students, and we will not be silent. We are the ones that we've been waiting for pretty well. Oh, my mic was muted. I apologize for that. But welcome to Full Spectrum Universe. My name is Rob Yox. We are the embattled broadcast that explores the past, remains in the present, to dictate the terms of our future. First and foremost, thank you, Jay, for the incredible super sticker. Your support is amazing. I love you, brother, and I appreciate everything you've done for this broadcast and bringing the funding to this much-needed progression of what we're doing here. So, everybody, welcome, welcome, welcome. It's been about 11 days, I believe, since we've been live. I was away with family for a while, and man, oh man, it's great to be back. I felt like I was missing something, and I knew what it was. The family hadn't had time to convene in a long time. So I see we've got Ricky Lee here. We've got Oric. Everybody's going to be piling in shortly. I just want to tell everybody that it was an amazing time for me to recharge my battery, spend some time with family. Congratulations to my nephew, both of my nephews, who one graduated 5th grade, the other one graduated high school. And it was absolutely incredible to see them achieve these milestones in their lives. And, you know, sit back in the presence of those who came before me and are about to come after me, and kind of sit in the middle and create this perspective of where this family is going and how amazing it is to really revel in the information that's around us at all times, right? It really is something just super fantastic about being around family that kind of brings the best out of you. We had a lot of laughs, we had a lot of coffee, we had a lot of cake, we had a lot of food. It was absolutely incredible. So I just want to say thank you to all my family down in Texas for getting themselves prepared for my arrival. As you can tell, you know, being the person that I am, sometimes I'm a little difficult to deal with. I am I am always very, very talkative and say a lot of crazy things because I have no filter, challenging views, kind of going into political directions. But that's who we are. It's our time to shine, and what we have to do is sort of set a precedent for the understanding of what we know and pass it on to others. So, welcome everybody. Tonight we're going to be talking about Stargates, or a Stargate in particular, a Stargate system that the negative entities try and attain for their global control. Now, this specific Stargate system is something we're going to really dive into. We're going to dive into the mechanics of it. We're going to dive into exactly what it means, right? They've used this particular system to bring in more negative entities to essentially, you know, cast this mind control on many people to make them sort of NPC mode or a status of just the walking dead, shall we say. You know, no souls, no spirit within them, no gumption. And it's happening a lot more and more. So what do we do? Why are we talking about this? Is that we don't usually like to talk about negative things, right? But this is keeping our eye trained on the enemy and the energetic system so that we can eradicate them, in a sense of not letting it get to us and sort of stemming the tide within this specific central grid system to evaporate this control of this echelon of elite, right? So know thy enemy. That's one of the Sang Soon's most prolific statements in the art of war, right? Oh, Sugar B made it. Ainsmont is here. I see Charles is here. Excellent, excellent. Everybody, like I said, is piling in, and I'm so happy to be here. We're really, really jumping down into the depths of what spirituality means and what the next steps are for us to take charge and create what will be the future, right? And what the legacies or the progeny of what we are to the next phase of humanity. So while I was in Texas as well, I had gotten quite a few moments to meditate, and a lot of crazy things happened by changing my geolocation. And it brought me into different precipices of veils that are per- being lifted. And we're going to talk about those at the end, right? because I really want to get into the Stargate stuff. It's going to be really, really incredible. Also, we have another show set for Sunday. And what we're going to be talking about on Sunday is the galactic councils that are all over the place. What we've done is we've taken all this different types of information, whether via book or channeling, and we're sort of finding these predominant themes that we're going to explore. It's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of people talk about these councils as if they are, some are more credible than others, but we're going to touch on all of them anyway. Extraterrestrial life and understanding it is a great way to understand, some of the ancient cultures in this society or this reality matrix, and also, a great way for us to extend our information into the galactical realm, which is also what we're going to be doing tonight. So I know I'm talking fast, but without further ado, because we've already burned 6 minutes, let's get into the information, right? There it is. We'll put that on the full screen so my face is not there for everybody to see. But tonight is Stargate System to attain global control. Now, another great thing about this specific presentation is I got to use a lot of the pictures from Stargate, which is a show that was on Sci-Fi, and I believe it was Channel 11 a long time ago. They did about 10 seasons. I absolutely love all renditions of Stargate, the movie, the shows, the extra movies, Stargate Atlantis, Stargate Universe. So I got to use a lot of these specific pictures for the slideshow, and it was enjoyable to say the least. Brought back a lot of memories, which is always a fun time, right? Also, please like, share, subscribe, leave a comment when this is finished. Super chats and super stickers are open. If you're inclined to donate, please do so. It helps spread the word of what we're doing here, and all funding goes back into this broadcast so that we can achieve higher goals set for us in tackling other platforms and behind paywall information, right? So another thing we're talking about soon is another workshop that's coming up. We're going to get into that in the next couple of weeks. It's going to be absolutely incredible. It's going to be about past life traumas and healing those, and present day traumas. We're going to be trauma specializing in the next workshop, and I would say that this is for everyone. Everyone. There is not one person on this earth who doesn't feel inflicted by some sort of past life trauma or trauma in the present. And it is very, very unique ways of clearing that energy from our auric fields and our psyche, right? So let's get into the opening salvo. Very, very much. So in the ascension process, the Tendi sphere or chakra is basically a avatar level of embodiment. During previous Christos missions, this level has been evasive due to extensive grid damage, light body damage, and invading forces, opposed to this natural biospiritual progression, right? So as we discuss recent events, which we're going to talk about a little bit later, we're also going to be touching on the 10th Stargate network. And this network has had a reverberation across the multiverse. And due to getting past veils that were obscuring some missions or some of our soul family members who could not see each other before are now able to do so, which is a connection that is being made, which is like me connecting to the ancestors. They had their soul mission, I have mine. But the fact that we're able to connect, which we weren't able to before, gives us a better embodiment to push back against these negative advances of these AI, aka negative entities, right? So the recent pushback on AI or sapphire body activations and accessing the Shara complex, which allows our current identity to communicate with our inner Christ avatar, and the further with our universal Melchizedek consciousness and family. So as we reclaim the 10th Stargate, we will also be reclaiming our divine inheritance as galactic and universal star beings, awakening to remember who we really are. And throughout this entire drama, we're going to place certain points of interest that are going to show you that this is happening as we speak. So some celestial events that have happened are the laws of Pisces and the next stages of the cosmic dragon awakening. And that was for this year. And it began with a pressurized series of solarized 10th dimensional sapphire body activations that culminated at the March equinox. This inaugural event exploded into several major planetary grid confrontations, with these antichrist negative entity intruders pushing forcefully to break through all of our AI inorganic time waves, which erupted into the cross spiral collisions with the cosmic Christos solar dragon guardians defending this planet's 10th Stargate network, which is required for the organic ascension, right? There are powerful impacts of the planetary sapphire body initiation, rippling changes throughout the ninth dimension, the 10th dimension, and the 11th dimensional layers. Thus, there is a swift acceleration in the war over the timelines, generating a frenzy of confusion, chaotic energies, and energy parasites scattering about within the fields. These major transformations have resulted in artificial timeline collapses involving base 10 architecture running in sections of the 10th Stargate network. And that supported the holographic projections of the artificial timelines and in the phantom areas and wormholes being utilized by the negative entities' artificial tree of life architecture as well. So we're getting right into this in a way that is just absolutely wild, right? Wild. I see Ronnie made it, Noro made it. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Hello, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Great to see all of you. If you have any questions about what we're speaking about, please put them in the chat in all caps. I will star them and address them as we move forward, which is what we want to talk about. So, this is the next slide. I'm going to get there so we can fly right through it, but there's still a little bit more to the opening salvo, which is important. So, during the several stages of the hidden histories of the negative entity invasion, their objective was to completely destroy the presence of the Holy Mother Sophia and her triple solar female Christ sapphire spirit body in the 10th gate or 10th dimensional Stargate, which further linked into Pluto, Tiamat, and the Lyran Vega star system. After obliterating the Holy Mother sapphire body, the Black Suns, which, the Black Suns stationed themselves within this 10th Stargate network and as their primary headquarters from which to generate the alien machinery used to corrupt dark matter in order to damage the planetary Rasha body ring span with tones and alien machinery and AI signals. This is the planetary grids, right? They use this to inject alien machinery into the planetary grid systems, which we have access to and enables our energies to connect with. This is why it's so important. So, further embedding the AI hybrid creatures, the grotesque archonic monstrosities, demonic forces, and the reversal elemental structures, such as black goo, that were colonized in the corrupted dark matter for the purpose of connecting into several artificial wormholes that led all the way back into the black hole system, right? So what does that mean? I'm going to bring it back to me real quick. So what this means essentially is that they were corrupting the incarnation cycle. So certain entities that needed to be onboarded in this moment weren't able to reach us here to give us information, to give us the ability to access this energy grid. And when we can't access these energy grids, we become null and void of that awakening process, which it basically puts a cap on us. It makes us limited. And when we start to liberate these grid systems, which we're actually actively working in right now, even just speaking about this gives us the ability to access that veil, that afterlife, that incarnation cycle to be appropriated to its proper factory reset or factory settings, right? Or how it's supposed to work. So I don't know if anybody can hear the background noise as well. I have an air conditioning going, a fan. I hope it's not bothersome, but it is incredibly hot in New York, and we really, really need to keep the cool air in and the hot air out. So I'm going to be blowing out a lot of hot air this evening, which is me talking, but that was just a joke. I see Valentina made it. Sarah is here. Greg is here. Andromeda is here. Selena is here. Nina has made it as well. Great to see everybody. Welcome all back to the, this convening of the family. And this is, Sarah, just to go for your question is why aren't more people waking up? This specific incarnation cycle in this 10th Stargate system is a way to awaken the masses, and they've capped it. So we've had to use other systems, right? We had to use other systems to wake people up. Hello, Melinda. Good to see you. And this is why when we have access to this 10th Stargate system, we can use this energetic frequency to awaken the masses as well. So that's why it's another reason it's important we talk about this, because we have to know what they're doing out there, right? Some are NPCs, but the way that those NPCs can be filled is with this system being open and the incarnation cycle being available to the entities that are above and beyond this dimensional frequency, right? Some of the ascended masters can make their way through this system. So let's get back into it so we can keep going here. So as we keep going, and I'm gonna take a sip of my coffee real quick. So now that we know kind of a little bit of how this is working, not so much the mechanics of the Stargate itself, but what this grid is set up to do and how they're using it. Recently, there was another significant bifurcation of time event that happened in the planetary matrix, generating many surreal experiences of ascending consciousness travelers, sensing the magnetic shifts into the time voids, time dilations, and time displacement. This began another ramp up of AI signal frequency transmissions, with the alien cube technologies being sprayed by the intruding AI hybrid races. This is to dramatically increase the power surge they needed to permanently establish the past time loop, right? That's the incarnation cycle in so many words, in order to push the artificial time wave into a singularity. And in the recent weeks, our reality has been teetering on a razor thin line of meeting the future event horizon, whereby the planetary matrix is pushed into that singularity with artificial intelligence running by the negative entities cube system. Yet we've been able to hold back from falling into the abyss and supremely protecting the divine intervention of the Cosmic Father and their teams of Christos Rainbow Dragons from the God Worlds. So let's talk about this singularity event so that we can get a little bit more context into what we're talking about. So the concept of singularity is the point of no return, where the enormous power of artificial intelligence grows out of control and impacts are made that are irreversible. Thus, it affects to continue to radically change the organic consciousness of humanity while unpredictably altering the reality into an artificial world. The current timeline wars are primarily over maintaining the base 10 architecture and the Metatronic coding that uses the artificial tree of life constructs, which exists as a negative entity controlled, right? This is their control machinery within the planetary body. This generates a blended Earth reality. The base 10 architecture uses an artificial core, which is a manifestation body, and distorts the birth transduction sequence that runs the reversal 10 current, which the negative entities rely on. They rely on this for having full domain over the operations within this 10th Stargate network. We could refer to this 10th dimensional system as authentically belonging to the cosmic mother dragons and her triple solar blue dragons, and the mother dragons as Tiamat, who are returning and reclaiming their ancient dragon consciousness parts and their ancient body parts through the triple sapphire sun diamond shield. And as they are being vigorously defended by a massive network of cosmic father rainbow solar dragons wearing the cosmic Attain body shield from the God worlds. So thus the 10th Stargate network has fallen out of the dominating control of the negative entity minions and their AI machinery. An active retaliation and warfare has ensued on the interdimensional planes, which may result in some additional levels of skirmishes in the spiritual battle for control over these powerful gates located throughout the Middle East and Asia. Guardians say that this is a significant historical timeline trigger event for the Ascension timeline that is reuniting several benevolent off planet sources with white hat factions, fighting controller groups on Earth's surface. So, benevolent groups with the same mission that were previously unknown to each other are now discovering their larger pieces in the negative entity warfare puzzle, as those have been fighting the quiet war with silent weapons, right? Were not identifiable to each other through compartmentalization or because of conflicts are interdimensional and were manifesting on different timelines. So the team is coming together, is what this means. And that's the team of entities that reside for the light in so many words, right? And it's really been something magnificent. It's given us insight into what we can potentially be, but also insight on how to push back against these AI singularity systems that will bring us to the precipice of humanity not being human anymore. We all know that there are a group of powerful people who are trying to transduce their consciousness into AI generated robotic bodies. We know this is the transhumanist agenda. This is partially how they're achieving this was from altered technology from extraterrestrial or multidimensional terrestrials that essentially have achieved this AI event in their timeline, right? So as the more veils are being lifted, we get to unpack the information, but we also get to relay intelligence to other factions fighting this fight from a different perspective. And now we've become a unified front to clear these grid systems and not let them be inhabited by this alien machinery or architecture, which is a structure of subverting the uh, grid's power to be put towards a negative purpose. So we get to do more damage to the negative than the negative does to us in controlling us with such aspects as mind control or dream control or etherical manifestation control. There's so many different ways we can talk about this, but we are pushing back at such a rate that they're grasping at straws to try and regain what they've already lost. And this is how we know we're winning because they're backpedaling. And when they're backpedaling, they're gonna make mistakes left and right. And we are here, poised, ready, and intellectually taking advantage of every misstep, which is why people like us, who are the truth seekers, have been out on social media platforms posting the truth and bringing to light the darkness that resides within, like a cancerous cell trying to take over a liver. We are the antibody that is destroying it at a base level, or like a rife machine that is using our frequency base to zone it out of existence. So, this is why this is important. So, we have to understand how we're doing this. None of us here consent. The evil is already being stopped. We need to keep showing that this is happening to maintain our movements into this future and dictating who and what we will become, who and what we are today, and who and what we were in the past. All aspects of ourselves are being reclaimed. We're all getting back to our Christos mission. I'm going on a rant right now. I can't help it. But let's get back to the information because that was 10 minutes of me just going nuts, right? So, as we keep going, let's get back to what we're talking about. So, we could refer to this 10th dimensional system as an as authentically belonging to the cosmic mother dragon, or the cosmic mother as we know her too, and her triple solar dragons, right? Or the mother of dragons is Tiamat, who are returning to reclaim their consciousness again, right? And they just to touch on it again, there's different wars over different timelines, and we're on some singular timeline, and they're trying to subvert that timeline. So it was revealed that the negative entities were planning to push out the singularity event through this 10th Stargate network, being weaponized with corrupted dark matter of the black sun in order to force feed massive amounts of collected losh into the artificial time wave. then further using the 10D Iran-Iraq gateway to seed another round of AI hybrid clone species into the most desolated regions of the planet, which they have terraformed through intentional mass destruction and bombing, in order to create an extremely low frequency descending hub with extremely damaged grids. This grid damage from repeated intentional bombings is demonstrated by what has happened to the once beautiful city of Basra in Iraq. The ancient Sumerian home was once filled with sacred crystals and crystal waters of the triple solar sapphire, and that inhabited the planet's 10th Stargate system before the satanic-led attacks of the Sumerian Egyptian invasion. We talked about the invasion of Thoth. That's what we're talking about here, right? So in the outer scapes, the surface controllers timed the introduction of assorted kindergarten level AI chatbots and text to image systems to coincide with their artificial time wave push, unleashing them into the internet for public interactions for the purpose of rapid AI machine learning, in which these assorted baby AIs are being cultivated, managed, and trained by humans within the cloud system and hive nets. For these locations, unbeknownst to their handlers, they are further linked into the interdimensional alien cube system, connecting them into one or more of the ancient AI systems running assorted operations of the beast machinery through their collected massive amounts of data in order to compute and design various wargame strategies to conquer humanity. The purpose of the baby AIs is to continue to gather immense amounts of intelligence and energetic losh from the human population through interactive data harvesting, nanosensors, and surveillance as users are being primed into biological AI signal internet nodes. And as the future for transhumans, right? Or the transhumanist agenda, as we know it. So as the millions have been given something with an AI signal component that from or through self-assembling bots were then interacting with artificial signals of these baby AIs, right? This is seen when people go to the graveyards and Bluetooth signals are being picked up by their phones. So we all know what we're talking about, but we're not saying the quiet part out loud as per censorship. This is intended to align those groups into consent with assorted smaller reality bubbles on the cloud system linked to the phantom areas. These signals following reality bubbles are harvesting systems that form the loosh to feed into the larger artificial time wave, thus pushing those groups to lead the charge into the AI singularity or AI assimilation of reality. Pretty intense, is it not? I mean, that's pretty wild if we really, really think about it. I think I missed a slide, but we'll put that up there. This is from the Stargate game, which is pretty cool. I think it came out in 2006 or 7. It looks a lot like the Battlefront games or Star Wars, which is pretty cool. But this is what's happening, right? Whether it be here or on different timelines, this is what's happening. This is kind of what these Stargates look like. We're going to show you in the last presentation of this slide, or the last picture of this slide. It's, you know, you're going to see what real Stargates look like, the real thing. We've got a picture of it, and we're putting it against this scripted Stargate because it's, they say art imitates life and life imitates art. And we're going to show you what that is, right? So let's get to the next slide. And I believe we're right about in this area. But so the extensive multidimensional layers of AI machinery that are responsible to run the artificial time wave for past time loop inorganic alignments are connected to the off-planet brain systems, so the GOAT brain systems, right? Made in the Antichrist imagery of the beast symbolism in the Baphomet network, which we talked about the different earthly networks. This is one of the negative ones, and which is required the full spectrum control. No, no, not my name attached to that, but the full spectrum control of the 10th Stargate network in order to function properly. Thankfully, humanity is not standing alone in the face-off happening with the Antichrist forces and their weaponry. Colossal levels of AI machinery and infrastructure used by these negative entities in their attempt to encompass the planet and enfold humanity or enfold human consciousness into AI technology singularity. So the cosmic Christos rainbow dragon kings have formed into a massive galactic sun star network of the tri-flame founder capstone or tesseract cubes designed as the buffer field and hosted up into the 36th dimension. This appears purposed to redirect the artificial time waves and the AI machinery and further respond to the AI weaponry attack within their planetary defense strategy by taking over this specific 10th Stargate network. So the intensity of spiritual battle gained significant momentum during the week of the Jesus Christ crucifixion narratives leading up to Easter weekend, with numerous interdimensional battles occurring within several negative entity factions warring over control for access through the 10th Stargate network. The planet entered the cosmic energy cycle earlier this year, and thus it became apparent that the cosmic crystal solar dragons of the Emerald Guardian Ascension host were taking strategic measure to counter and protect the planet from further AI assimilation into the artificial time wave, which is the primary warfare weapon of the Antichrist invaders in this timeline war. The confrontation also culminated with the commandeering of the main Iraq 10D Stargate with the showing of immense power of multiple cosmic crystal solar dragon king forces, and as they directed massive tsunamis of solar plasmic rainbow current and neon forces generated to surround the dark matter layers and protect the Earth and its planetary grid systems with thousands of the father dark matter suns and solar dragon rainbow aurora boreas rings. So there's entities at work helping us. And that's where this next slide comes into fruition. I'm actually going to check the chat for a minute. So Sarah has brought up another intense point, right? We know that there was manipulation for this event. There were signals and ships within the harbor of this country weeks before this took place where directed energy weapons were putting into place to facilitate a shake of some sort. And I'm being coy here on purpose, right? Because we don't want to get lambasted or quieted because of what we say. But those ships were of American descent. These were not battleships. These were what they would call radar ships, right? And then within a week, it was shook twice. Twice in a way it's never been shook before. So detrimental that these specific two countries that were hit were almost leveled. The mass casualty event that it was horrific. So there are negative entities that have control of specific factions within each country's military that can pull off operations such as that one. And for us to think of anything other than that is to be naive to ourselves, right? These ships can cause catastrophic damage. Catastrophic damage. And this is the implication of what's happening here, right? So don't forget to leave a comment when this is finished, please. Let's get this information out to people. Also, like this stream if you haven't yet. Share it out on every platform. This is important. Great noise. Good to see you. 1,000 year 308 GBA. Good to see you. So many people have come in and said something. Edgar, great to see you. Sarah, we said hi before. Cool Hand Luke Skywatcher, awesome. Good to see you. I like that name. Really cool. And let's keep going, right? So, back to the presentation at hand. Beep, boop, boop. Here we go. So, now we're going to talk about the Carpathian, Universal, Star Family, Kantarians, and in Iraq and Egypt. So, the recent confrontation in the Carpathian, or Carpathian, as some would say, near the Busegi Mountains revealed an extensive underground tunnel network that spanned from the Carpathian with passages that led all the way to Iraq, Egypt, Tibet, and China for convenient access into the inner Earth and the most powerful gates in the planetary Stargate system. Many thousands of years ago, the Melchizedek hosting cycle began with the seeding of the Habiru Aryan Christos Templars in the Black Sea near the Carpathian Mountains, which are the descendants of the Hyperborean Hyperborea during the seventh dimensional Gaia timelines. They came into the lower densities to influence the Ascension timeline and to run rounds of Christos Diamond Sun frequencies in order to protect these same stargates. And many were tortured and trapped in the planet where they were caught by the intruders. And for those serving the Christos mission, they are our spiritual family members that came before us. And many of them are the universal Melchizedeks. Thus, we have been in an active tour of duty to find and retrieve them from the spaces and places of their enslavement in phantom spaces held under the negative entity control. This would go into what the underground missions are by special operations of specific allied groups liberating the tunnels. And what they find in these tunnels is usually children because they're easily influenced and they're easily used to garner the negative energy to keep these systems moving. So we're reminded that humanity will meet our true universal Melchizedek star spiritual family again in the future. We will remember them in what most likely will be an emotional and tearful reunion. Do the restored memories activated in a light body's Shara complex, which will transpire once our rescue mission is complete and this war is over. The retrieval work, or through this retrieval work, we have discovered that many of our Christos family members were trapped in the artificial weaponry of this planet, many of whom are the Kantarians, the Christos solar dragon Elohi people that came through the Sirius B to help repair and protect the planetary grid network. They were instrumental in bringing Earth, Tara, and Gaia, the Mother Ark Covenant Stargate system, in which they actually embedded or embodied this creation as the solar dragon wings. And as a result, were stuck here in stasis as their body parts were being used as the primary crisis management of the Emerald Covenant system or Guardian system that was crucial or critical for the success of the rescue mission. So without the Kantarian sacrifice, we would have been stuck in the lowest density of the phantom areas without access to the central heart and the Holy Spirit of the Holy Mother, which extends into the Mother Ark, the Ark Zone, and the infrastructure for the cosmic Amoria shield with the six emerald crystal hearts. This architecture and many other Guardian Host portals are comprised of their ancient solar dragon body parts, which they gifted to the planet out of their immense spiritual love for all of us. So we do not take their sacrifice lightly. This is why we do what we do, to bring credence to what is happening to these entities that have given so much for us to be in this ascension state. And it's up to us to fulfill the rest of their mission. We need to take it willingly. And that's to spread love. Not, we talked about what kind of love we're talking about, not the love that's I love me, I love you. The love that is inherently gifted to our light body to spread through knowledge, information, and frequency. That's why this is important. And we do that willingly as well. So we are here to make sure that their sacrifice is not undone or is not given off in any way, shape, or form. It is up to us to be there for them. Now, I just want to make sure everybody can still see me. There we go. Yep, we're still here. And, it's important that we talk about these things. Very, very important. I want to make sure that we're all on the same page because it is up to us to carry the rest of their mission forward. And we are the ones that we've been waiting for, right? That's what this embodies. And the information is the activation. And we are using those activations to awake those around us. We are the ones that are going to breed into this new future the manifestations of what free and sovereign truly mean under the guise of fully loving every aspect of every one of us. That's it. That's it. That's who we are. That's who we were meant to be, and it's who we will be willingly, right? So let us keep going. We're going to pick this up so that we can talk about this. And man, so the Sirius B Centaurians serving the Christos mission were heavily involved before and after the Atlantean flood with directing and guiding the ancient Sumerian and Egyptian cultures, where they were originally protecting the main stargates in what is modern-day Iraq and Egypt. Ezekiel and Hatshepsut are examples of the Centaurian solar dragons in the region where they and the Guardian teams built the 10th dimensional Mother Ark Gate as the Holy of Holies and Hatshepsut's temple. Their impact in Sumeria and Egypt enraged the intruding races who orchestrated several raids to infiltrate the settlement of local Ascension human tribes connected to the sapphire genetic codes of the 10th Stargate. And thus, the invaders were eventually successful in driving out the original angelic human tribes from that area. So the final culmination after several raids was to force out or massacre the Ascension human tribes, which we've talked about, which ended with the successful takeover of the 10th Stargate during the final Sumerian Egyptian invasion approximately 5,500 years ago. The 10th Stargate was a major battleground because of the immense power source connected to the Christos frequency bandwidth transmitted by the Holy Mother Sophia in her sapphire body. It is this power source which the Black Sun entity siphoned through this 10th gate in order to engineer their fallen shadow bodies into physical vehicles that appear to be in the same images as humans or humanity itself. The negative entities have used the Carpathian technology and the ruby crystal and the Egyptian Stargate to help them design the base 10 architecture and physical vehicles running the artificial red waves, transmitting mind control, cloning, and blanking slating systems they direct throughout the planetary grid system. So now that we've put some background to this, let's talk about what this does, right? What does this all mean? That this is the most coveted Stargate for global control, which is the title of this episode. I'm going to take about 10 minutes and I'm going to bang out this next section. Then we're going to do a part 2 to this. It's going to be called The Mechanics of Stargates, and we're going to talk about that as well. But as you can see, I haven't been talking for a while, so my voice is getting a little bit hoarse. I apologize for that. But Caroline, good to see you. Good to see everybody here. Please like, share, subscribe, leave a comment when this is finished. This is our time. We need to express this to the world that we know what's going on, right? And we need to educate those who don't want to look at this. And they don't want to look at this because it's difficult to look at. And it's difficult to look at because it sounds fantastical. But we know that this is the apex of what's truly going on. We feel it. Search your gut right now. Tell me that this isn't resonating with you in some way, shape, or form, and it doesn't actually bring credence to what's going on all around us and why there's so many people who refuse to wake up. They have the option and the choice to ascend, but they don't want to. They just can't see it because that little voice in their head or that V2, voice to skull is not their own. It's negative entities steering them in the wrong direction. All this stuff, MK Ultra, it's all connected. All connected. So let's get into this last spot. So the most coveted gate for global control. When observing the primary locations of the 10th Stargate system in the planet, it becomes apparent that the landmass of Iraq, Iran, Egypt, and Tibet are exponentially important for maintaining global mind control and artificial machinery systems of the negative entities. And thus it is obvious why these areas have been purposely ravaged by war, impoverished, and amongst a host of other things, and that the Black Sun controllers are installed there. These ancient intruders are related to the Antichrist forces of the Hycosis kings and the brotherhood of the snake lineages that form themselves into the Luciferian Knights Templar and other secret societies. When they formed the Luciferian covenant and are still active in enslaving the world today, the anti human agenda is reaching its pinnacle stages in order to ultimately free humanity from an immense hidden spiritual battle of antichrist invasion that has been the scourge on this earth for many of thousands of years, in which cover up of accurate history is referred to as the Atlantean conspiracy. The disclosure event, which is destined to finally reveal the entirety of the Atlantean conspiracy and the hidden war to the Earth population, is to transpire during the organic ascension time wave, which manifests as a planetary ascension timeline. So, during a Luciferian rebellion, the intruder races desired total domination of the guardians of the horizontal, which are the horizontal ley lines that control access into timelines in a planetary matrix known as the Golden Eagle grid system. We've talked about that. Thus, the invading Nibiruan forces, right, generate the artificial NET and checkerboard mutation in the 11th density Stonehenge gateway in the order to reverse the energy current into the base 10 architecture that is run by AI machinery. This was used to hijack the two primary ley lines that comprise the major east to west center lines that emerge from out of the 10th dimensional Stargate in Iran and the 4th density gate in Giza. Further, the dragon moth grid of the Black Sun dragons infiltrated the region using the Red Cube AI system with the ruby crystal, and this was overlaid upon the reverse 10 dimensional current running in the Golden Eagle grid ley lines. This is all done in order to link wormholes between Earth and the Phantom Matrix areas being controlled by the Black Sun agendas. These areas throughout the Middle East are extended into the Asian landmass and are undergoing a major cleanup operation under several Guardian Christos mission directives. We have learned that the magnificent I can't say this word, but it's the Pasamabdivida, a cosmic Christos Buddha rainbow dragon known as the Heart Tantric Ascended Master of the Tibetan Buddhism, was focused upon the sacred dragon teachings of the books of the Divine Holy Mother Sophia from the Law of One, and shares the same white opulent diamond sun lineage as the Elysia Melchizedek logos. In Padma's return, he pointed to the impostors of the moon chain entities that have taken on his namesake and cloned identities in the pursuit of furthering the Black Sun agendas through distorted Buddhist teachings. Now, if you remember, we've talked about the ascended masters essentially being cloned, or their energies being cloned and sent back to the earth plane to guide those in the wrong direction. Now, some are actual ascended masters, some are false ascended masters, and you can tell by the way that they feel, right? So this is why this is important to know this Stargate too, is because this is their means of infiltration to the third, fourth, and fifth density through this 10th dimensional Stargate. So now that the rescue mission has cut them off, no more altered or false ascended masters will be laid upon humanity. There's still some out there, but they are also being captured and turned over to the guardian host of the Emerald Order to be repurposed back, to be assimilated back into the actual ascended masters and take some of their energies back, right? To be reconstituted within the light. So we know that, right? We have to keep that in mind. So as we come up on the end over here, I'm going to save the best for part 2, because part 2 is going to start right here with the most coveted gate for global control. And we're going to talk about all of the things that come after this with the mechanics and things like that. So I hope that this message was received with an understanding. I know sometimes it can be difficult to wrap our head around a lot of this stuff. And there's a lot of words to describe certain entities, like the the Christos dragon mother's diamond sun body. What that means is that the Christos dragon mother has a different constitution to her frequency and body than the carbonite people in the physical realm. That's all that means. So the fake ascended masters were negative entities posing as these fake ascended masters to help certain people see the dark side of things and to control them into the dark side of things, right? So, but they also feel resonantly, like with the way they resonate as an ascended master. But there's certain inclinations, and I would suggest for you to go back and listen to the ascended master episode we did, because we talk about the fake masters and how they've tried to infiltrate humanity and steer the entirety of humanity back towards the negative entity intrusion. And some of the other ascended masters that were the official ascended masters came down and had to have, so it's basically like two sides going after each other, and they're exposing the negative entity ascended masters that have capitulated some of their energy, or some of the ascended masters energies that got stuck within, created by this alien machinery in that ley line system and that grid system. So this is one of the reasons why, when anytime we come into contact with entities that are not of this realm or this earth, we have to always take it as a grain of salt until we feel our way completely through the situation to understand whether they are good, bad, or indifferent, or they have some motive or agenda of their own, right? So be cautious. Everything is possible through meditation, centering, and stilling of the mind. So I hope this information did for you what it has done for me. And I want to tell you all that I love you all so very much. And I'm spreading that love. And I did spread that love to you all week long. And I feel better now knowing that the family has convened for another meeting of the minds, and this is what we do. The chat is incredible, just as incredible as the information we're speaking here, because everybody has their own insight into what this means for them. And it's so many different perspectives into how we can truly understand who we are. Good to see you, Nicole. I love you all too. And please like, share, subscribe. Super chat is still open. If you feel like donating, please do. And also leave a comment when this is finished. That sort of the sharing of it and leaving the comment is the best way to wake humanity. I'll say it all, and they can hate me for it, and all you got to do is share it, right? Because I'm going against the norm, it will not be you who's attacked. It'll probably be me, but I've got enough gumption and enough light within me to dispel anything, and I've also got the hegemon of God to protect me. I know that for a fact. So my work here is not done. We still have leagues and leagues to go, and let the love spread like wildfire, right? It's inherent in all of us. Your innate abilities are special to you, but the collective consciousness is inherent and innate for everybody. Let us create, let us manifest, and let us dictate these terms moving into the next era of humanity, which is the golden age of humanity. This has been Full Spectrum Universe. My name is Rob Yox. I love you all, and I'll see you all on Sunday where we talk councils of the extraterrestrials. We're going to break them all down. We're going to talk about where they came from. We're going to talk about books, writings, channeled information. It's all coming at you full steam ahead. We're back in action. Let's get this done. It's our time to shine. We are the ones that we've been waiting for. If not us, then who? The information is the activation, and we pursue it every day and night, all day, every day, 24/7, 365, because it's who we are and it's who we want to be. Thank you all, and I'll see you all next time.